Welcome to the Coach's Corner. I'm Mike Van Hooser. Today I want to talk to you about 7 key questions that you can ask every week as a leader that will help you in your leadership effectiveness and making an impact with your life. And whether you're just a person of influence or a leader with a title, you have influence in your life and you can lead and direct people every day and make a positive impact in their lives. And as you know, if you listen to this podcast or YouTube channel for a while, you know that we're all about performance and leadership in sports, business, and life. So today we want to focus on leadership, and so we'll get right into the content and the questions. The first question is, who do I need to invest in this week? I think it's really important. A lot of times as a leader, we can think about all the things we need to get done, the things that are being asked of us as a leader, but I think it's important to think about the people and think about where they are, understanding their strengths and understanding who you need to invest in to help them be their best and bring their best to whatever task or things that need to get accomplished. And so asking that question reminds us that, hey, we're leading people or we're influencing people and we need to invest in them to make sure that they're bringing out their best and that they can grow and develop in their leadership role as well. So what we're trying to do is create leadership capacity for them and for us and for our organization and team. So thinking about that question, who do I need to invest in this week, is really important. And it reminds us of the responsibility and the opportunity that we have as a leader. The second question is, what are the most important things I can do this week? And you may be thinking, well, that's a simple question, and doesn't everybody ask that question? But no, we don't. We often think about tasks and things that are put on our calendar and dropped into this meeting or copied on this email, and we don't step back as a leader and think about, of all the things that are being asked of me or that I'm seeing every day or every week, what are the most important things that I need to focus on this week and that I need to accomplish this week? And then if we keep that in the forefront of our minds, we're going to prioritize the right things throughout the day, throughout the week, the month, the quarter, the year, whatever it might be, and make sure we focus on those things. So asking that question can remind us of the priorities in our life and to focus on that. The third question is, what has become clear to me lately and what action should I take based on that insight and clarity? So what has become clear and what insight do I draw from that and what clarity and what action should I take on that? And this comes from a question I love, and people who know me well that I love Ralph Waldo Emerson and a lot of his poetry. And he used to ask his friends every day or maybe every week, what has become clear since we last met? What has become clear since we last met? And I think that's really important because we all want clarity in our lives. And to me, that quote or that question has 3 different parts. It's, what are the data points in my life? What's been happening? What's been going on this last week? What insight have I drawn? What clarity have I drawn from those data points? And then what action should I take based on that clarity? Insight, clarity, and action. Those are things that we coach people on in career development and also just as they develop as leaders. And I've used that in my own life as well. And so thinking about that, it reminds us again to ask about those data points, ask ourselves, what are the things have been going on in our lives? What clarity are we drawing from that? And what action does that lead us to into the next week? And that's a great question about developing clarity and things that are happening within our lives. The fourth question is, what excites me most about my future? And what accomplishments will bring me the greatest sense of joy? So what am I excited about that I'm working on right now? And what future things that I'm going to work on excite me and are going to bring me the greatest sense of joy? And I think we have to focus on those things. Don't be just transactional in our lives or transactional in our leadership, but let's work on the things and focus on the things that we're most excited about, that we're passionate about, that we're purposeful about. And I think that will drive us to make the greatest impact with our strengths because, our talents and strengths kind of aligned with our purpose and passion are going to allow us to make the most impact. And so asking this question about not only what I'm working on now, but what excites me about my future will remind me about things I need to focus on and will bring me the greatest sense of joy in the future. And I'll be excited about what I'm doing, and people will see that, and my leadership impact will be expanded because of that, because I'm focusing on the things that I'm good at and I'm passionate about as well. A fifth question is, what strengths do I need to leverage this week in order to make the most impact? What strengths do I need to leverage this week in order to make the most impact? I think when people get into leadership positions for the first time, they don't let go of some things that they need to let go of, and don't learn about delegation and leveraging those things to people who may be better at that, or who need to take on that because their capacity needs to expand as a leader and they need to focus on more strategic things. And so it's important to think about, what are your strengths as a leader, and as a leader not trying to do everything, but focus on the things that you're good at and leverage those to make the most impact. And I've seen many organizations where the leader's trying to do everything, and it's a wrestling match because they won't give up control of what they need to give up control in, even if that takes investing and training the next generation of leaders to take on some of those tasks. So as a leader, it's important to think about, one, to know your strengths, but to think about your strengths and to leverage those in order to make the most impact. Don't just continue to try to improve on your weaknesses, but leverage your strengths, and your fully leveraged strengths are going to allow you to make the most impact. A sixth question is, what do I need to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing? And we use this in our coaching. We use it with organizations to think about strategically and strategic planning. What do they need to do in the future? But this whole start, stop, continue is a great thing to focus on. What things do I need to start doing that I haven't been doing, or that are new things that I need to start doing? Looking back and saying, well, I've been doing these things, but that hasn't got me anywhere, so I need to make sure I'm stopped doing those things. And then what are the things that I can leverage and continue doing that have been good in the past, or good in this present moment, and are going to make the most impact in the future? And I think this is great if you do a quarterly review around personal goals and the progress you're making and what you're doing both individually and collectively as a team and an organization, to do a start, stop, and continue, and to think about incorporating that in. As we're talking about personal leadership today and individual leadership, it expands to your organization and your team. Focusing on implementing that in a quarterly process would be good, because you can think about the start, stop, and continue. It's easy to make those lists, and then it's important to take action on the things that are within those lists as well. Which brings us to the seventh question: who are my mentors, and how have I leveraged their wisdom lately? And this is assuming that you have mentors. If you don't, you need to find mentors in your life. You need to pray about that. You need to seek out mentors in your life. But think about people who've invested in you, and who are they, and how have you been meeting with them on a regular basis? Are you tapping into their wisdom? Are you tapping into their insight? And how are you leveraging that in what you're currently doing? Again, leadership can be very lonely, and I think as a leader, or when we get in leadership positions, especially the higher up we go in an organization, we can think that, well, we're supposed to know all the answers and we can't seek out other information or ask other people. And whether that's getting a coach or it's just meeting with your mentor on a regular basis, it's important to get insight from them, and then also leverage that insight to make you a better leader and to fast track your growth and development. And then in turn, pass on that same insight to other people as you're mentoring them as well. Again, we offer coaching in that area, so if we can help you, we'd love to do that. We have coaching resources on our website at mikevanhooser.com. But here's 7 questions I think that are important, and every week you need to be asking these questions to think about, and maybe it's just focusing on one question. I did a Dean's Retreat for a university here in the Houston area, and met with the provost and all the deans of the colleges, and they loved these 7 questions. And it's something that the provost said he was going to tuck away in his shirt every week and be focusing on those questions, whether it's all 7 or just one of those. And I think they're really good questions that will help impact your leadership and help you develop as a leader as you grow and develop and want to make the most impact in everything you do. As always, make the most of the moments in your life and make it a great day.